Welcome, and in this lesson, I want to walk you through getting set up on your linuxacademy.com lab servers in order to follow along the Red Hat Certified System Administrator course. Now, on the left-hand side here, we can click on Distribution, and I'm going to want you to select Red Hat Enterprise 7 and go ahead and hit Start. Now, our Red Hat Enterprise 7 distribution already has the ability to connect via VNC and regular command line terminal. This is set up for linuxacademy.com. It's not necessarily a default install on Red Hat 7 distributions. We've set it up so that you can follow along. Now, what you are going to need to do is you will need to have what's called a VNC viewer. VNC viewers are free. If you want to use a Chrome plugin from the Chrome store, just go to the Chrome store and type in VNC viewer. If you're using Windows, Linux, or OS X, you can also download an executable program that's independent of browsers called RealVNC from RealVNC. This is free to download, so you can easily download and install it. And the RealVNC is available at realvnc.com. You'll go to download, and then you'll want to make sure you do the viewer because the viewer is free. So you select which operating system that you are running for this. Now that we're connected, I'm just going to demonstrate real quick how we get set up with VNC. At this point, we should know how to SSH into our lab servers. I'm just going to log in to my default IP address using my default username and password. Now from here, in order to get started on VNC, we're going to spend most of the time inside of an SSH terminal. But in order to set up your VNC, you're just going to type in VNC PASSWD, enter in a password for your VNC client. So make sure this is a unique password that's not 123456, so other students or anybody doesn't eavesdrop in on your connection because you're using the default username and password. Once you've generated your VNC password, go ahead and log in as the root user on your system. You're going to need to change your root user password to one that's also unique. And then let's go ahead and reboot your system. And this will apply all of those VNC changes that we need in order to connect to our VNC. And let's wait for it to come back up, and then we'll continue on there. You can see I've connected back into my terminal, which again is where we're going to spend most of our time. However, I'm going to open up my real VNC client and connect to my public IP address. Make sure you're connecting to your public IP address. So inside of here, you'll type in the IP address :5901. So you have your IP address from linuxacademy.com underneath the public section. Then you have :5901. That's the port we need to use to connect to VNC. And then go ahead and select connect. Enter in your password from your VNC password creation. And then you're connected to your linuxacademy.com lab server from a GUI terminal. Now keep in mind, this is just a lab server. It's not going to be speedy. In fact, it's going to be a little slow due to the resource constraints. We are only going to use this maybe 1% of the time during our course, just to demonstrate a few things throughout the course. 99% of the time, we will be using the terminal and SSHing into it. Again, we're not going to use a lot of the VNC because of resource constraints. And this is how we connect to the lab server for what we will need to do inside of the course. So that concludes it for this lesson. Let's go ahead, dive into the first section, and start learning Red Hat Certified System Administration preparation.